Hi there folks, my name's NovaWing24 and welcome to another ESP platform review. So today we're having a look at something that I'm not especially familiar with, so we're going to be going on a bit of a journey here today, and we're having a look at some Photoreal scenery. Specifically, we're here to review the two releases from SimWest, so SimWest Southern California and SimWest SanDiego. So we're having a look at these two pieces of Photoreal today in concert with each other because they're kind of related. And SanDiego serves as sort of a update to the SoCal base package. So I want to say thank you very much to the team over at SimWest for providing me with the review copy, and let's sort of just take some shots over SanDiego, but let's start at the beginning in other parts of Southern California. So Photoreal scenery for me is something that I always have some mixed feelings about. And my initial experiences with Photoreal many years ago were fairly negative. But SimWest has sort of convinced me to have it a go, to give it a crack, and see if I can actually do something else again. And you know what? I'm reasonably impressed with what I got. So here we can see I'm just flying in a Piper Warrior here, just sort of just doing low and slow over heading towards some mountains, heading towards Big Bear. And one of the things that struck me first was the fact that, and one of the cool things I like is the fact that, as opposed to the autogen sort of geotypical textures that we have in our sim normally, you actually have this seamless transition beneath you. So you actually have the ground as it actually appears. You don't have these weird juxtapositions of things. And the other thing that I'm impressed about is that for quite a lot of this, not all of it, I will stress not all of it, but for quite a lot, the autogen has actually been customized and placed so it actually appears correctly. So as we're flying over the houses before, we actually have houses lining up to it. We've got warehouses that you can see over in the back there, and we're just going to be having a look at over to our right as we bank here, that you actually have warehouses that actually pop up where they are in the Photoreal, and that goes a lot to sort of some of the hard work that goes on by the team as well. So in that way, I'm really enjoying the immersion of the Photoreal because it actually has that consistency. Because you actually see the roads where they actually are. You don't have, as I said, you don't have that sort of odd thing happening where you see, you know, these textures just not quite lining up as you do with the geotypical stuff. Unfortunately, though, it does have a bit of a downside, and we're going to see that several times throughout this video review today. So we've got this great sort of thing, as I said, we're flying over these warehouses, and we've got the warehouses lining up to where they actually are, and that's great. And then we come to the airfields as we head towards the mountains. And this is where you have the downside of some Photoreal, and specifically the SimWest scenario, the SimWest Photoreal. So the SimWest Photoreal, it is Photoreal. It is the entire of Southern California and SanDiego in ultra high definition. But it shows also that, you know, the default airports aren't necessarily in the right location, and SimWest haven't supplied a file to actually correct those airport locations. So you can see as we flew over the airport there, the taxiways didn't match up, the runway didn't match up, and neither did the ramp and the apron. The rest of it looks great, but the airport didn't, which was a bit frustrating, but it is one of the drawbacks of it. But again, once you get over the airport and we're actually sort of past the airport and heading back over the residential area again, we've got that great sort of immersion of going through, we're looking at what it actually is. As we move out of the cities and move into the mountains, one of the things that I really liked is I really liked the way the Photoreal actually wrapped around the actual scenery as well. So we're actually looking at where everything goes in. And we've got Photoreal scenery that's actually gone and applied over the actual sort of forests of the mountains as we're heading up towards Big Bear here, in that beautiful look, and it really gives that nice underlying thing. And that's the other thing as well I want to point out, is that the autogen is on top of this. My early experiences with Photoreal were that you didn't get the autogen, like you sacrificed autogen for the Photoreal. So this gives the low and slow flyers like myself a lot more to actually be engaged in, which is always pretty great to see. Now, as we're heading up here, we're sort of on our downwind leg here for Big Bear. I did want to highlight with this one, the reason why I picked Big Bear was the fact that Big Bear's terrain, there's a couple of reasons why I wanted to go in here. So this is actually the Big Bear airport from Turbulent Designs and Orbix. So it has, there's a couple of reasons why I want to point this airport out. So one, I want to point out that it works perfectly well with add-on aircraft, with add-on airports. But I also want to highlight, and I'll highlight that very shortly, that it has its own issues as well, presented as well. So as just coming in here, coming on in our approach to Big Bear, I really like this airport. I really like this airport. I personally thought that I loved it in Flight Sim World, actually. It was the first time I flew into Big Bear, was actually in Flight Sim World. But I really like this airport, so just enjoy my my approach here. Reasonably happy with that approach, actually. I think I actually sort of I tend to fly sort of overfly the Warrior sometimes, but I think I'm reasonably happy with that approach. Probably floated a little too long. Anyway, all right. So this is the other reason why I want to highlight Big Bear is this also showcases one of the other drawbacks as well, because we're with add-on airports. So as you can see, as we're flying along, we're getting this mismatch of photoreal. So now, although the SimWest Photoreal scenery is located on top of the scenery library, if you do have other photoreal, it can clash, and that's what we're seeing here. Is we're seeing the underlying photoreal of the add-on, which is the Orbix, the Turbulent Design Orbix Airport, clashing with the photoreal, the more accurate and sort of more high definition photoreal from SimWest. So we're getting this sort of popping in and out of and clashing of the two photoreals, which is, as I say, it's a bit of a downside of having of when you are mixing the add-ons, but it's something to be aware of. It's not, yeah. What's good is that it shows that both teams have very accurate photoreal, so that's the good thing, because you're seeing the roads in the exact same location, so that's great. And we'll see here as we go over this building here. Oh, sorry, you actually didn't get to see that, but yeah, it has a bit of a clash on the photoreal when you have these competing ones. But once we've left that, we're heading up to Lake Arrow here. So this is where I think the photoreal does really well, is it makes flying into these sort of remote areas really just a beautiful thing to do. So we've got this beautiful high definition photoreal of the lake, and it's also been watermasked correctly, so you can actually come in for a landing here and actually get to enjoy that as well. So you get to enjoy the visuals of a living piece of water, and something I'll actually highlight when we're flying along the coast a little bit later on as well as being able to enjoy the high quality imagery as well. So as we fly over some of these beautiful houses here in the boats, probably one thing that I'm a little saddened about is that we don't have the boats and the actual sort of docks. That's not there. I guess, you know, it's a bit of a shame that that's not part of it, but anyway. Alright, as we're sort of moving on from Lake Arrow here, we're sort of moving inland a bit more desert technology. Again, just wanted to showcase again one of the more clearer example of the mismatch between the default airport and photoreal. So very clear over here with the runway being off by about 10 degrees. So there are some guidance on how to correct it yourself, but you do have to correct it yourself. So SimWest don't do it, and that's probably the one differentiator there between SimWest and say Just Flight with their their real VFR United Kingdom, is that Just Flight actually went through and redid all the default airport positions to actually get them right and lined them up with the photoreal, whereas SimWest haven't. Now, which keeps the cost down, but yeah, just something if you may have to do this yourself. But otherwise, as we fly along one of the main roads, the main highways here, again, just got that great immersion of actually seeing what it actually looks like. This is actually, this is actual photography, actual aerial imagery of Southern California, and coming through and looking at it just makes it actually just that little bit more involved, because the geotypical textures are great, but sometimes you do miss that sort of it jars sometimes, and this is what I really like. I do like the fact that we've got the bridge vector data is also correct as well, so all the vector data lines up, which is pretty cool. Now, I wanted to showcase this part of it as well, because this is a really great way to showcase some of the night lighting they've done as well. So they've revamped the night lighting for all of Southern California, covered by the Photoreal. But it's not just about revamping like street lighting as well. So as you can see as we're flying over, it's actually added it on to the actual ground map textures as well. So we've got the lights from autogen buildings, which is great, but we've also got lights coming from the actual sort of light masking put onto the grounds. And it's a great sort of, things like, so backyards have been illuminated. You've got pools are illuminated. So you got the traditional lights over roads, that's fine, that's just vector data, but things like having your backyards can sort of have that red glow sort of from very sort of backyard some garages from cars and the like, but also as you'll see in the distance here as we're sort of turning the corner here, you'll also see it in car parks. So you can actually sort of have part of the car park and part of the actual shopping centre car parks and industrial areas will actually have all of their areas lit up as well. You can sort of just see them off the distance at the top right of the screen there, and we'll see them a bit closer as we fly over them shortly. So I really want to show off that night lighting, and there's a couple of different nights set of illuminated textures that are available as well. And again, all masked and done in a really high quality way. Just makes that, gives that life a bit more pop to it, because if you've ever flown over an area at night, so you don't just have these sort of lights in the middle of nowhere. And that's the other thing as well, they've actually sort of made sure that lights just don't appear in the middle of nowhere. They actually looked at the light map of the area and actually went, are there actually lights out here? Because the autogen and the geotypical stuff sort of puts lights where there aren't any, as I found out in Australia many years, for many examples over the years. And so here we are. So just as we're coming up ahead, we're just flying over these areas where we've got our parking lots as well, but I've also masked things like tennis courts are masked out as well to actually sort of get them illuminated as well at night. So there's a lot of handcrafting has gone on to this Photoreal as well, considering how big an area that we have is covered by it as well. I mean, you've got thousands, literally thousands of square miles of Southern California have been covered in the high definition Photoreal, and then you've got 45 square miles of ultra high definition of the city of SanDiego, and much of the county of SanDiego included as well. And just this detail that we go over here is just what I really appreciate about the work that the team's done. And that shopping centre car park, just again highlighting it, so it's covered off both through industrial areas and shopping centre car parks, and sort of because shopping centre car parks, you have those huge lighting arrays, and they light up at night. So that's something that your geotypical doesn't have it. Now, we're moving back here to sort of the imagery that we first sort of saw at the start of the video. So we're flying over here into SanDiego. We're going to be performing an approach into Ksan. Again, wanting to combine sort of showing off the fact that we've got this Ultra HD through SanDiego here, and going through and doing an approach here into Ksan. So we've got this beautiful set of photoreal imagery with match autogen, and then we've also got the lighting throughout, and sort of showing it often fairly impressive actually. And again, it's all about all the vector data has been matched and go through. I did find some discrepancies in some of the vector data in some of the more regional areas, but overall, sort of looking through the masking here of the canals and the rivers and the bridges and everything, it just looks absolutely amazing, and it gives you that combination of both the photoreal on the water as well as having the masking effects as well. Coming here, just turning our final approach here in our Learjet. Can I just say, I love the Learjet. I really do. Just a zippy little aircraft. Anyway. You can sort of just see, although I'm sort of concentrating on flying, you sort of see coming through here that you do have that high definition come through, and you've got that again. You've got autogen being matched to the actual photoreal below you has come through here. Now, as I said, SanDiego has been done in this is part of this is sort of showcasing SimWest SanDiego, so which is Ultra HD. Photoreal come through here, which blends seamlessly with the SoCal scenery as well, which is kind of cool. You can tell if you zoom right out, sort of the space view, but otherwise it looks absolutely seamless, and it's come through here, and beautiful clean frame rates come through here. Now with KSAN, this is Orbix's KSAN that we're flying into. So Orbix's KSAN doesn't really sort of do the photoreal much outside of KSAN itself. It just has more of just the airport. So we are looking at the Ultra HD photoreal from just the add-on here. Coming through, I think that's a little bit below glide slope, I think. No, on slope towards the end there. Now, in order to be able to, so we're going to sort of revert here and do a bit of a Top Gun moment here. We're going to be departing from Miramar in a T6 Texan, and I wanted to sort of do this one because again, it shows some of the drawbacks, but again, some of the advantages of it. So, if you've got the time to actually go through it and redo the scenery, or perhaps download some additional updated AFCADs, it might be good. But again, I love the fact that the photoreal's, it's actual real photos. So we just sort of, as we did the wing over there, we actually we're buzzing the tower as we're departing, as we're departing here, as AKA Maverick style. You actually saw, it's real photos. Like you actually saw an F-18 Hornet there that was sort of on the photoreal below us. And it's flying over here again. This is where some of the high definition comes through. We can actually see so much detail in the ground below us as we're departing here. And again, all this vector data sort of matched up and coming through. And actually, again, great examples here of where the autogen's been sort of placed correctly, so it actually gives that to bring that photoreal to life. Because as I said, like it's one of the photoreal things that's many of the at least older photoreals sets always sort of struggled with. It was like a dead world, as it were. But having this, what SimWest done with actually blending it together by implementing autogen. They also have a custom tool that actually makes sure they put the correct amount of trees sort of around to actually come through here and sort of modify some of your autogen as well to make sure that it appears correctly and brings everything to life. And you sort of flying there as you saw over. It says we flew over there. You saw some of the actual cars actually going along the highway correctly as it appears underneath us. Some things obviously you do miss, obviously, because you do sort of have reflections of bridges and stuff like that on the photoreal, which of course some of those bridges aren't there in the vector data, which it is a little frustrating. But at the end of the day, if you know an area and you're missing there, you're going to know about that anyway. But still, overall, looking really great. It's really great to come to life there. Just going to be turning over the coast here. You can see how dense some of that autogen is in some of those residential areas. Now, I wanted to showcase some of the beach work here, and this is one of the things I love, is the fact that we've still got the rolling, you've got that photo image of the waves coming along the beach here, and the high definition of layout of the beach. Right down you can see people on the beach, so you can see there's sort of beach towels and stuff. But if you look closely, you can actually also see the waves, actually sort of the wave effects actually still there. So it all has been masked correctly to enable it so that you can do amphibious landings and sort of work on the water, and all that is available to you as well. But again, you've got that beautiful combination now. Instead of just that plain blue water that we've got further out, you've actually got that sort of multi-spectral, multi-coloured part of the water closer into the shore as part of the photoreal. And it's little things like that, and we'll get to see some more of it as we turn over one of the canals in a moment as we fly south here. That's again, it's all about, and that's what Photoreal sort of tries to do, is tries to bring that immersion factor up a bit higher. And I must admit that, as skeptical as I was, it kind of has done that for me, because I do get that again, that sort of less jarring effect that you get with the geotypical textures, and you have that more things of things like those rocks waiting offshore there, and the waves and stuff like that hitting them. So the fact that you've got that. Sometimes you do have the issue of popping, of the bit of texture popping here and there, but you can tweak some of that out with your settings. Which is sort of, but also, you know, something like low and slow, also low and fast in this particular instance. You can then see a lot of the beach goers there on the beautiful white sands of the SanDiego beaches there. Again, looking out to the left here as we sort of go over this water, those are sort of like inland waterways, sort of amazing. This is sort of where a lot of that really comes in, where you actually sort of get to see the fact that, you know, not all water is blue. You know, there are sort of, you know, salt pans, and there are things that affect the color and the shape of the color of the water and stuff like that, which is really actually important to actually bring that realism to you. Again, I just want to point out, it is a bit frustrating that you don't get all the boats there, but again, that would probably kill up some of the, they would kill some of your frame rates absolutely stone dead with all the extra models that would have to be put in. But it's like having that, the river below us, and looking off to the side there, we actually have that, because you have that coloring of the water, which is what you actually see. So actually, when you're actually flying over these areas, you actually see that kind of coloring. So when you miss that in the autogen, it does sort of break a few things. So seeing that, and that's where Photoreal does have an advantage. Having the highway, sort of the American complex highway system being placed in correctly as well, and matching the Photoreal, that was a great thing to see as well, because that's complex enough as it is. Coming back over the top of SanDiego again, and Kaysan, just doing a high-speed pass crosswind here. There you go. So of course, SanDiego is a very important port, both for military and commercial as well, and that's of course all indicated with Photoreal here as well. And it shows as two carriers, there's sort of one carrier docks, and most of the Photoreal matches, but there are a couple of exceptions. So it shows the midway there as the carrier, as the museum, but there is on the naval base on the right of aircraft, there is Photoreal, which shows two carriers. Only one's been placed there on the control, unfortunately. But to have another look of a closer, more detailed look at the Ultra HD of the city of SanDiego, we'll go into a frantic palm tree with a you wait 60 days. So we're going to go through low and hard. So so this showcases a couple of things. So one thing I think I'm really happy about, you know, is the Ultra HD of the sort of terrain as we're flying over that you can see below us, which is great, and a lot of the buildings, and the buildings have been done with really great work. And as I said, we've got the museum ship there of the US Navy parked here, which is great. All in beautiful Photoreal textures, almost perfectly matching the Photoreal underneath it. The problem I have though is that this custom model, beautiful custom model they put in there of this museum carrier, is not landable, and that really disappoints me. I know it's a small thing, but one of the things that makes this Photoreal great is the fact that it has all these little things inside it, which makes it suitable for people who are low and slow flyers like me, who like to go down into the weeds and actually do things. To have something like this that's not landable, very disappointed. So anyway, otherwise, as we transition over now to leaving one of the local Marine Corps air stations here, again, a couple of things noting some of the great Photoreal surrounding of the area, of the surrounding areas, but again highlighting some of the issues of these default airports. So it's great. It's a great pack, whether you're a fast jet flyer or whether you're a low and slow flyer. This has got something in it for everyone, which is really great to see. And as I said, it's got a lot of life in it, and I think it definitely adds a lot to the immersion as well, with the fact that you can actually you know, see the actual world for what it actually is, and not have the sort of sometimes the juxtaposition of some of the geotypical textures. It's funny actually here, just flying over the range here. So you can see that sort of barren landscape, but again, you know, they've matched the actual custom, you know, autogen here to make sure it matches up with this Photoreal of the base and some of the base's buildings, the base's barracks. So, you know, there's a lot going on here. So this gives me a good chance to actually sort of round out this review and have a look at this one here. So what do I think? So as I said, like I was very trepidatious to actually do Photoreal. As I said, Photoreal and I have not had a good history together in the past. However, I am grateful to SimWest to actually to persuade me to actually give it a go, because at the end of the day, it's made me realize why so many people rave about Photoreal. And why, you know, things like, for example, Ortho for XP is such a big deal, because actually having actual textures and actual things below what you're actually flying over, it does actually make a difference. Does it have its drawbacks? Absolutely, it has its drawbacks. So we've got issues in terms of the fact that it doesn't always, like the default airports don't match up, and the fact that you have to manually physically change those yourself if you want to improve them, that's annoying. And would it have been nice if SimWest had done it? Yes, but there's a lot of airports to do. So, and it's a one man show. So I'm not gonna fault him for that. But probably just something to be aware of. Performance-wise, it is pretty clean. It's pretty great. You can either turn your sim settings up and get some advantage, or you can leave your sim settings medium high, and actually get a bit of a frame rate increase. It's got a lot of attention to details being paid in things like water masking, and the fact that, you know, you've got a lot going on for a variety of pilots. So for the value, I pretty much have to say it's not bad. And as I said, the fact that it's there for people, it doesn't matter whether you're flying a heavy or whether you're flying a helicopter, or whether you're flying GA or flying fast jets. There is going to be something for you in this pack to discover in the beautiful parts of Southern California. So overall, I have to say that I was skeptical, very skeptical, but I have to say that I'm pretty much going to recommend this one. So there you go. So that pretty much rounds out this review. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel. But before I go, I just want to say thank you very much once again to SimWest for providing this one. Now, quick plug for this one. So this is when this video go live, there's actually a special going at the moment where you can actually get the SanDiego, so SimWest SoCal and SimWest SanDiego are normally two separate add-ons, but currently they're available as a bundle deal for they call it a $4 boost to improve your SoCal with SimWest SanDiego. So head over to flightsim.com for that deal if you want to pick it up. Otherwise, if you missed the deal, don't worry, you can pick these both up, available now from flightsim.com. Alright, as I said, that rounds out this review. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.